Welcome back to the.
Wait, I'm not.
Okay,
It's like
What do you need?
I need to tuck in my tummy. I can't explain it.
God.
since when have you ever tucked in your tummy?
Two sisters talk about dumb shit. We hope you like it. Cause if not, then we'll kill ourselves and the blood will be on your hands. Young old!
Welcome back to the last episode of Young Old
Also,
before we
you-
all get insane plastic surgery and come
God.
back
You didn't
totally
hear my-
unrecognizable.
My hilarious joke, which is you're eating food and you go, this is gonna go straight to my bluff.
And if you don't know what a bluff is, good. Don't learn. A bluff is basically the skin on your
you
eyelid.
don't want to be bluff pilled.
Well,
You don't want to
wanna be
know
bluff
what
pilled.
You
bluff
can't be
is.
bluff pilled. We got bluff pilled.
We did get
Oh,
bluff
yesterday
pilled.
we were
God, we got bluff pilled.
There's an
And
influencer.
it's all we can talk
We
about.
won't say who, but an influencer is getting their
Upper bluff
bluff
surgery.
surgery, and we, for
Which is
one,
where-
Well, let's say the official line is the bluff is like this. What is it? It's like
It's
the
like
skin.
the
skin
eyelid or
on
something.
your
The way we
eyelid.
still don't even
But
know
let's
what
be
it is.
so clear,
Yeah.
Bluff was invented by plastic surgeons to gaslight you into thinking your bluff is fucked.
You actually you have
fake.
good bluff. You have good bluff.
You have good
I'm looking at
bluff.
Never
you and you have
mind.
good bluff.
Bluff is real.
But me
me
and-
finding out I have good bluff, I'm like,
You're like, bluff is really real, actually.
But me and Eve have bulgy bluff.
Oh my god.
We do. No, we do. We do. I
Why
mean,
would
I like
you
it.
say
No, I think
that?
we're beautiful.
I need to get my bluff done.
yeah. You two just
But-
need to find people who love you in spite of your bluffs. And that's kind of
Yeah.
Oh wait, so bluff
how
is
Robert
something
keeps
that
me
needs to be
humble.
loved in spite of. Like,
No.
like
Look,
if
we
my
all have our
boyfriend's like,
challenges.
even though your bluff is disgusting, I still love you.
Well,
It's
you
like
know-
Beauty and the Beast, but she has bluff.
Beauty and the
Yeah.
bluff.
Beauty and the bluff.
it's just a
That was the
normal
only
looking
thing that was
guy,
wrong
but
with
he's
him.
got bluff problems.
No, whenever I act up, Robert's like, "Hey, Dana, you think another guy will want you with that bluff,
You
with that
think-
Yeah.
big
Oh,
bulgy?"
You don't
bluff?"
have good enough bluffs to justify this attitude.
Yeah.
All right. Someone with better bluffs could get away with this.
Anyway, welcome back to Young Old, the best podcast in the podcast marketplace.
Somebody says
Oh,
that
God.
they
They
need
like
you
when I
to
said
start
that.
to start it, so you could say that.
Yeah, you guys, today's my last day of being 20 in my 20s.
Your last day of being 20. You
My
turn
last day of
21
20.
tomorrow.
They're singing
Happy
happy
birthday.
birthday. Wait, we don't want to
Oh,
get copyrighted.
I think
yeah.
we're so off key, it wouldn't matter.
Dude, sometimes I get copyrighted on my YouTube shorts for singing covers, and I'm like, you really think I'm that good?
Dude, yeah, that's a compliment.
No, literally.
Eve and I were joking about in 3090, the song from Tick Tick Boom Boom.
He says
Tick, tick,
there's a
boom.
line that's like, your friends are getting fatter,
Yeah.
or the hair and their hair is getting, what is it?
Getting the hairs on their head and
Or
getting,
getting thinner. And so
Yeah.
like imagine he's like, hey guys, like do you want to hear this new song I wrote? And they're like, they're singing along, like they're singing like they all love it. They're like, this song's great. And then he gets to that part and he's like, friends are getting fatter, and they're
and
like,
everyone's like looking at their
they're like,
stomachs.
what?
They're like
And-
Jonathan, that's really rude.
Yeah.
And then he's like, getting thinner.
He's just
Lines
like,
on
hey
your face
guys,
are
this
getting
is a song
longer.
about how I'm insecure about turning 30. Cut to, it's exclusively
Cut to
about his
me
friends'
roasting
flaws.
you about being fat.
Yeah, they should have been like, bluffs are getting bigger.
We're like literally we talked about bluffs for I think
Like
maybe an hour.
2 hours last
Yeah.
night. Yeah. Just
Biter, as soon as we started talking about bluffs, he started to walk away. Body
'Cause he-
positivity king.
Yeah.
True. No, but he really needs his blood. The vet told us that
we
he
need to
needs
save
his
up for
bluffs
his bluff
done.
surgery.
His bluff surgery.
I feel sorry for anyone who doesn't know what bluffs are right now, but we
Yeah.
kind of explained it, sort of.
Well, we explained it as much as it exists,
that is
which
the
is it
extent of
doesn't.
our
Which is
knowledge,
nothing. It's just like
rebluff.
eyelid vibes.
It's like plastic surgeons ran out of surgeries to charge you for, so they're like,
So they
wait,
made a
don't
bluff.
you want to get your bluffs
And
fixed?"
Heidi Montag's back scooping never caught on.
True.
Yeah.
If you guys aren't familiar, Heidi
She
Montag
was
got
the first and last back scoop plastic surgery.
to ever get
Let's
her
can we
back
just really quickly count how already we're maybe a minute and a half into this episode of Young Old. We've had to explain bluffs, we've had to explain Jonathan Larson's Tick Tick Boom, and now we're explaining Heidi Montag's back scoop.
How
But
would
these are
you
all
like
vital-
to proceed?
Huh?
How would you like
Oh,
to
I obviously
proceed?
want to talk about Heidi Montag's back
if
scoop.
aliens came to Earth and they were like, tell us the 3 most important things about your planet, like those are the bullet
That's
points.
how we defeat the aliens. It wouldn't be with weapons. We just look at them and we'd be like, you really should get this.
And they're
fixed.
like, what? My bluff?
It's a slimy tentacled monster, and we're like, the problem's the bluff.
Well, I always think about how aliens coming to Earth would probably create a body positivity movement among humans because we'd realize like, oh, at least we don't have like tentacles.
But then
or
they'd
we'd want to
think
get
the same
tentacles.
thing about true.
like, and then we'd
but
have
also they'd
tentacle
be thinking
surgery.
that about us. They'd be like, ew, where's their tentacles?
Well,
Yeah.
low key, that's what happened with even Brazilians. Forget aliens. We saw the Brazilians with their butts, and
True.
we said,
And we
weed.
said BBL.
Yeah.
But there's upper bluff, which I think is the more common, but there's also lower bluff.
Yeah.
And look, there's people out there who want both. And they
And-
just want no eyelids, just
Just
eye.
pure.
Yeah.
They want to go Smeagol. They want to go full Smeagol. Actually, Gollum. Smeagol got his bluffs done.
Right,
And
and
became
became
Gollum.
Gollum.
I think that's how it
Gee.
worked. And by the way, if you guys are, again, if you're not sure what your bluffs look like, go to the mirror and just stare at yourself in the mirror for about 4 to
Make
6
sure
hours.
to like really pinch that eyelid skin.
Yeah.
Give it a good tug.
If you feel secure in yourself, you haven't looked in the mirror long enough.
That's so true.
You haven't researched enough about bluff.
Yeah, you need to
If
learn
you're
to bluff.
confident.
If you're confident, you don't know bluff.
You don't know bluff.
Go get a consultation done with your local plastic surgeon and get back to us.
So next week, young old, we're all gonna
We're
be
all
like,
gonna have like no
Pure
eye
bluff.
skin.
Yeah, we're gonna be bulgy baddies.
We should do
Bulgy
a
baddies.
giveaway for our bluff.
Oh yeah,
we give away our
Yeah.
bluff, our discarded bluff.
If you're a young
Three
eliminator who's
lucky
interested
fans. What if like
in
you
our
enter
bluff?
the raffle and then you get Chubb's bluff and you're like,
Why? Chubbs would be the most bluff.
No, you have the least bluff already.
I still
Sorry.
again the way we're talking. Like I'm like I think I don't know what bluff is because I'm like, wait, do I want less of it or
Do
do
you
I want more
of
of
it?
it?
I think if you have it, you have
mean,
more to remove.
No, well, we don't
I'm
want.
so
We don't.
confused.
We're all happy with our bluff.
No, but what? But like, do what is the ideal bluff?
I'm gonna get
is it
some-
a lot of bluff or
No,
is it a
I think it's a
little?
little bluff, right?
is
Don't
a
you
little
remove the bluff?
Yeah, you want to have like a really.
So then why'd you say
prominent
Robert had a
eyelid.
lot of?
No, Robert
he
has,
doesn't have
Robert
bluff.
doesn't have a lot of bluff. You can see. Do you see what I mean? Like he has a lot of
Okay, so
eyelid
it's eyelid
space.
fat,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
eyelid fat, and we have fat little eyelids.
and we have fat little eyelids.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Eve
bluff.
and I are
Got
bluffed
it.
up.
Okay, we're bluffed
Bluffed
up.
up.
But we're also secure and
bluffed.
happy with ourselves.
Hashtag bluffed. God,
Bluff
thank
up.
you for all your numerous
Yeah,
bluffings.
Bluffings. God bless us.
God
God
us.
bluff us.
Yeah, amen.
Honestly,
Amen.
amen.
Anyway,
If someone's insecure about their bluff, someone says, God bless you, and they're like, God bless me? No.
just proof they need to get it done.
Yeah.
Wait, that would be a fun little sign in a plastic surgeon's office.
God bless you.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
if a plastic surgeon started getting fun with their signs, people would kill themselves.
I'm sure they have punny signs
Yeah.
in there. I'm sure they're like, fill her up.
Yeah. I'm sure they're like,
Or
you can't make an
something.
omelet with it without adding some giant boobs.
Right. I'm sure they have. That was body
Well,
negative.
again, this was another thing of like, we're all having fun. We're all been going
yeah,
about
and you
bluff.
come in with something sick.
We're talking about
Yeah.
plastic surgeons. It's like the main plastic surgery. Dana and I were driving to Arizona, and there was a big billboard. It was like for like in the middle of the desert. It's like breast augmentation,
yeah.
$5,000. Imagine I'm driving and I just swerve off the road.
Well, on the side of the freeway, there's so many like plastic surgery sales. Like that's what billboards are being used
Just
for
like,
now.
I don't think that's something you want.
You don't
on
want
sale.
discount.
It'll be like facelift, $3,000 today
What a
only.
steal.
I
Yeah.
don't know how much these things are supposed to be. Is $3,000 a lot or a
I
little?
don't. I really
I
don't,
don't know. For a facelift, that seems like not
How
enough.
much is bluff?
I don't know. I'm not sure about bluff.
What if it's like
Blah.
$12?
There's
like,
a
just get
sign
in
here
here.
where Robert and I go hiking that is for $13,000 veneers.
Which again, is that
Oh.
a lot or a little?
I'm not
It seems like there's
sure.
no amount for veneers.
I think it's like per tooth.
Well, this
Like-
was a full set for
okay.
$13,000.
Like
It was
because
basically
most
like get a
people
whole new
only
mouth,
get
$13,000 right now.
I know when I got my root canal, that was just under $3,000.
Okay.
So that's like when they give you a root canal, and they gave me a new tooth. I mean, but it's not a veneer. But it's like, what do you even
root
consider
canal's
that?
the opposite. They do like the inside, right?
Yeah.
Versus veneers like the outside.
Yeah.
I don't really know anything about any of this.
I was like,
so.
when they were like, hey, we got to give you a root canal. I'm like, while you're in there, can you kind of take a look at my bluffs? They're like, we obviously don't do that.
Well, some
We don't do
dentists
that.
do Botox.
Really?
Yeah, that's a thing.
Dude, how
Guys.
broke do you have to be as a dentist where you expand into Botox?
I mean, our aunt was very proud of herself because I don't think she got into Botox.
Good for
she was a
her.
dentist.
it's like turning to the dark
Stay
side of the
legitimate.
force
yeah.
as a dentist.
Yeah. Speaking of, no, I don't have
Maybe it's
anything.
just like
Yeah, well, I
while
was
you're
gonna say,
under.
what? Speaking of
it's like
what?
while you're under for your dental thing, we'll take a look at those bluffs.
Let's
do
take
it
a look at
quick.
gloves.
Yeah.
When I was going under for my wisdom teeth, a nurse looked at me and said, "You have really nice eyelids," and that was the last thing I remembered before I went under.
Wait, actually?
No.
No, that's true.
You really?
Yeah.
Is that real?
Eyelashes. She said eyelashes.
Oh, okay. I was like, eyelids,
is a little much.
crazy.
Eyelids is like you're gonna kill me, but she said eyelashes.
You do have nice
Eyelids is giving she
eyelashes.
wants your bluff.
Yeah.
She wants my blood to add to her collection.
To add to her
She's
collection.
entering the
Her bluff
raffle.
collection.
Please enter the raffle.
Please.
Okay, we'll have a raffle to pay for someone's bluff.
Us who have made $0 on this podcast ever, we're like, we're gonna get a raffle to
We've
pay for
only
someone's
lost
blood.
money on podcasting equipment.
We've lost so much money.
Yeah. I'm going
okay,
into
so we'll
30
pay-
broke, but with a full podcast
With a full
setup.
pod.
Thank
And
God.
no eyelid skin.
I know eyelids good.
Okay, so we'll pay for your lucky fans bluff surgery. Well, we'll do one upper, one lower, and if you win both, then you can get
Then
both.
you can double up.
And then we'll give away our bluff
So you can get in a little glass jar.
to the lucky fans. Yeah, it's kind of like selling your bath water, but
Well, we were saying a fun Hollywood
like your
horror.
bluff water.
but it's your bluff. Okay, so then we could do the bluff water.
Yeah, because then you put it in water.
We're
Are
really
the priests gonna use it to wash our feet?
Oh my god!
Whoa.
Call back.
Call
Wait,
back.
explain the Hollywood horror movie where all of celebrities.
Oh.
So
parts
Eve was
that they
like,
got
Eve was like,
removed?
it'd be
Yeah.
what-
You were like accrediting this to Chubbs, but really I came up
Oh,
with
sorry,
the origin.
sorry, okay.
well, she came up with the origin and then I piggybacked
And then
on
you
it.
yeah.
We collabed.
It was a collab.
It was a collab.
And
So
I
I think
didn't
Eve and I would
contribute.
get story credit, and then you would be a producer or something.
Yeah.
You
But
can play
anyway,
the blobs.
so Eve was like, imagine all these like Hollywood plastic surgeons when they take your bluff or they do plastic surgery,
Like your
they
lipo fat
save
or
all the
something.
flesh. So they save the lipo fat. They save the
extra
They save the
skin
bluff, the
from your
extra
face.
skin.
Everything you get rid
And so
of.
like if you like go into the back of like a plastic surgery and they have a secret room where they have like corresponding to each celebrity they've done work on, like a collection of their flesh.
Or like
And
your nose. Like if you
Yeah,
get like your,
a
a
nose
nose
job.
job and you like
Rhinoplasty, they
take
have the
off.
cartilage.
So
Yeah.
I was like, but then what if like someone like somehow like they reanimate like all the flesh? So it's like if you're a celebrity who got a bunch of plastic surgery, suddenly your creature comes after you, and you wake up in the middle of the
Your
night, and it's
flesh
just a lump of
creature.
your flesh, and it's just like, why did you get rid of me, John Travolta?
want us, mother?
Mother, why didn't you want us? And you're like, oh, it's my bluff. I
my
recognize
bluff.
it anywhere. My bluff.
That's my bluff.
That's my bluff.
So I'm thinking with the money we make from that movie, there's no limit to how many bluff raffles we can put on.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking young and old needs some sort of gimmick to blow us up. Like I was thinking about how so many podcasts blow up because a host unknowingly says something that creates a lot of commotion in the zeitgeist.
Yeah.
And so I do think it's like we just need to become the podcast that they will pay for your bluff. Like,
thing.
That's our thing.
Our thing is
The
that we
Young
pay,
Old podcast,
imagine
we
like
pay for
we go on
bluff.
tour or something and we look out into the audience
it's
and,
just-
everyone's like,
And we have to be like,
Dude, the young oldenators are gonna be whack.
they're gonna be
Looking,
blessed. Well,
blessed.
not blessed.
Yeah.
not bluffed out, except for one of them who won the raffle.
But this influencer we're talking about, who talked about getting her bluff done, she is like tagged her plastic surgeon, and the plastic surgeon's like active on TikTok and like commented on the video, and we're like, I mean, she's probably getting some sort of discount, I would
Obviously, but also
assume.
if your
Yeah.
plastic surgeon is A, active on TikTok, and B, giving out TikTok discounts, that's not the surgeon for
Right.
you.
We're
Setting
like-
aside whether or not you need your bluffs done, you can't get surgery with a surgeon who's like trying to go viral.
No, literally.
Your
Like,
surgeon should be, reading medical texts,
Yeah.
or whatever.
You want them studying up on that bluff. You want them to be real fresh.
on the bluff.
Yeah.
Because there's new bluff science coming out every single day.
That's so
For
real.
example,
They're making strides in bluff science every day.
Yeah.
yeah, they're like, do you have the cure for cancer? They're like, oh, we pivoted to bluffs years ago. We're making great strides.
Cancer too hard.
Yeah.
Bluff.
Bluff on the other
We're
hand.
running a 5K for bluff.
Oh my god.
Awareness.
Wait, I love that.
Yeah.
I love running a 5K for bluff.
For bluff. It's the only thing that Eve would run a 5K for.
Well,
Let's
she's
get her out
really
of
in
the
her
house.
fitness era, as we've talked about. So
It's
maybe
like the commercial mom talked about where I didn't know what stilettos were. And
Yeah.
when the lady cried about her insurance being so expensive, she couldn't afford stilettos, and it made me really sad. Like, that's something that I would get upset about is people who can't afford their bluff surgery.
Well, I'm getting upset about
Which
it right
is
now.
why Young Old is running a 5K.
We're gonna step up. Young Old's gonna step up
Yeah.
for bluff.
step up for bluff. Bluff up for bluff.
Bluff up for bluff.
Anyway.
Well, that's it for us.
We really came in on a sprint. We really just sprinted so much.
I mean,
Bluff.
also we talked Bluff into the ground last night.
No, but then we
really
also
did.
just
Last night was a
easily-
movie.
Last night was a movie.
Well, the Bluff movie.
The Bluff movie that Eve and I are working on.
Yeah, that I'm producing.
That
right.
Dana's producing.
Oh, we said we're gonna bring back the diss track era.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
young
yeah.
old diss track.
Because we were realizing like old YouTube, there was that YouTube era where like how you went viral was you did like rap music videos and diss tracks. That was like the main thing.
Well,
Yeah.
this was inspired by we were watching
watched Paul
the
American.
Paul American on HBO Max.
Yeah.
Great
And-
show.
Or I guess it's just Max now.
Yeah,
It's just Max
It's just
now.
Max.
Because why drop the name recognition part? I guess it's because they don't want to be.
well, I think they realized
Max is trashy
HBO
and they don't wanna
realized
be
that it was
associated.
ruining
Well,
their
HBO
Yeah.
is still a thing. It's just
Yeah.
part of Max.
Yeah.
I'm so
Which is,
confused.
but that's
I'm more
exactly-
confused than Bluff.
That's why they changed it, and that's why basically like HBO Max, they were like the HBO part is like the bluff, and
Yeah.
they got the bluff removed,
yeah,
and now it's just Max.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Exactly.
Dude, we'll watch Survivor on Amazon Prime, and there's an ad that plays before it, and it goes, "You're watching CBS on Paramount Plus," and it's like, but we're
no,
not.
They go, you're watching CBS All Access on Paramount Plus. Survivor's a CBS normal show.
But we're watching,
But
it,
we're
on
watching it on
Prime,
Prime.
But there's an ad that says you're watching it on CBS All Access on Paramount Plus. It's like none of these things are real.
And then I'm also really confused because Apple TV is now available to stream on Paramount Plus, but like through Amazon Prime.
yeah.
Like
I'm like the lady doing math right now.
Yeah.
Young Old Coop, for all we know, we're on Paramount Plus
Yeah,
right now.
we don't even on via CBS
You're
All
watching
Access
Young Old
on Amazon Prime.
Tubi on Paramount Plus.
Yeah,
That's
on
crazy.
Vudu, on Mubi.
On Mubi.
Yeah.
It's always like whenever there's like an actor that we like, we're like, where have they been? We haven't heard from them in years. And it's like they're on like a, they're like
They're on Newbie.
8 seasons on a newbie show.
Right.
I do think it's interesting because it's almost like these are streaming prisons of sorts.
Yeah.
They're digital prisons.
They're digital prisons.
Like Peter Sarsgaard has been locked away in Mubi maximum security.
He's in Mubi.
for the last 5 years.
He's been on Apple TV Plus.
Yeah, exactly.
You were like, where's Peter Skarsgård? And I'm like, he was
No,
in prison.
Sarsgaard.
Skarsgård? He's not
He's not a
Skarsgård.
Skarsgård. He's a different guard.
That's probably for the
Yeah.
best. He doesn't really have the Skarsgård look.
No, he has a different
Value
look.
neutral.
Value
yeah.
neutral.
Value neutral. I didn't say
Why do all
anything.
Skarsgårds look like that? Value neutral.
Value neutral.
Value neutral. But the Skarsgårds are related. That's why they look like that, because they have the genes of Alexander.
No, they have the dreams of Stellan.
Oh, Stellan, you're right.
It's
sorry.
Stellan's the dad.
Okay.
And then the kids is
You're
Bill
right.
and Alexander.
You're
I think
right.
there's a third one out there. Oh my God.
there
There's a third
is.
one in here, and he's coming right for us.
Anyways. Oh yeah, but then in Paul American, they were revisiting, Jake and Logan's golden era, which was the diss track era of YouTube, which was like popping at the time. Like everyone
You're
was
my
making diss
little
track.
brother.
Little brother Jakey
Little
trying
brother
to roast
Jakey
me.
trying to roast me.
I could do the whole song
No,
right now.
do
but
a little,
like,
do a little bit, but not enough to get copyrighted.
Wait, how does it start? I made one phone call, Jake. Got the same house as you, same cars too. It's really not that hard.
Wow.
Go. And it's like, y'all, little brother Jakey trying to roast me. What? Little brother Jakey on his own 2 feet, not for long. I'm a dog, you a puppy, call you Kong. Woof! And then it cuts to Kong who got eaten by a coyote.
That's so sad, Rip.
Wow, we really just speed ran so much Paul lore. Paul American backed, and then
And
we
then
circle
Logan
back to the
killed
coyote.
a random coyote with a crossbow to get revenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar.
Oh, that's Alyssa Violet used to be your chick. Now she in the low gang, and she on my
Team. Wouldn't it be great if we joined Team 10 now?
Yeah.
Like we signed on in 2025.
We can still join Team 1000. The website's still up.
Wait,
if you're
I
not,
thought that it was taken
taken
down.
down?
I'm pretty sure Drew Gooden did an update video, and it's
Oh.
completely the whole thing. The scam is erased.
well, for
Yeah.
a limited time, you could pay money to join Team
Well, that's the trick
10.
to avoid. If you're on Team 10, the trick to avoid getting scammed out of your money is make no money. And we're there.
Yeah.
We're there already.
Yeah, that's so real.
Man, it is. Oh God, what was I gonna say? No, yeah, when Dana and I first started dating, that was one of the first things that Dana showed me because I was out. She literally walked me through all like the drama of the hierarchies.
That's a good one. That's a good. The aliens are coming to Earth. What do you show them?
You show them the Team 10, and then the aliens don't attack Earth because they instantly kill themselves.
Right,
They're like, we
exactly.
can't handle
Well,
this.
Team 10, Cody Co bullied me, the Jake Paul video.
Iconic.
Which Eve actually really
Chimed
caught
in on
leached
the
off
drama.
of. Yeah.
Yeah, as a high schooler.
Yeah.
And you got
Yeah.
in on it.
Yeah. And that video has like 300,000 views.
So
So
So-
you might know her from that.
My teacher never told me that.
How to buy a Lambo cash.
How to get a DM back.
Dude,
How
that's
to
How
get
to
DM
buy
back.
a Lambo cash.
Yeah. Anyway, does anyone have any dish
Well,
track?
it is interesting whenever people are like, yeah, my teacher didn't believe in me. Well, look at me now. And it's like, if you're Jake Paul's teacher, you're like, yeah.
You were a little shit,
I didn't believe you could be a productive member of society, and I didn't believe you were doing your math homework. Neither of those things has really been
I
disproved.
do believe your teacher that you were a nuisance in class.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, I didn't teach you Lambo Cash. I'm a history teacher. We were doing a civil rights unit, Jake.
But anyway, so we're gonna do diss tracks on each other and try and bring back that YouTube era.
Yeah.
So
Who wants to go first?
we're
Are we
improving it.
freestyling it?
I mean, I don't know. That's why I told everyone to come prepared, and you guys all said no.
Well, it's just like it's a lot of homework, you know.
Well, then
Did you do your diss track?
Did
no,
you do
me,
your
I was
homework?
gonna wait for you guys to
What?
do it first.
Oh,
What?
come on now.
You
come
know that
on
I'm not good
now.
at this stuff.
What? What
What?
about Dr. P's poems?
Oh, I guess okay. Should we do it next week and we can all come prepared?
It just seems like a lot of work.
Seems like a ton of work.
Okay, so
You're
no
always
one-
springing this
But
on. You're
here's
springing
my
homework
thing is
on
like,
us
how do you
mid-app.
how do you think the podcast is ever gonna go viral if we don't have like diss tracks or like
Bluff raffles.
bluff raffle?
Or bluff raffles.
My diss track is just about your bluff. It's at your bluff.
Hey, that's a big bluff you got there, Eve.
Wow.
You should get a surgeon to make your bluff leave.
Hey! Dude, that's it. Isn't it funny
That's
that that's the
good.
moment that's going to make this whole podcast take off?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, you saw it here first.
Again, whenever someone's like, my teacher didn't believe in me, I'm like, I know you're leaving out so much context because teachers, they just want to teach you. What does it mean they didn't believe in you?
Yeah, why are you perceiving that your teacher is negging you?
Also, it's
somehow?
never a student who's like, oh yeah, I did my homework on time and I prepared for tests and I tried my best and my teacher didn't believe in me. No, it's like, you were a monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though you won an MTV Best Kiss Award, that doesn't mean that your teacher was wrong to be like, stop terrorizing my class.
Unless your teacher was like, stop terrorizing my class, you'll never win an MTV Best Kiss Award.
Just so you know.
Just so you know.
Yeah.
Remember when someone on Twitter was like, Jake Paul bullied me in middle school and was like trying to out him? And it's like, you realize we would all be shocked if Jake Paul bullied no one in middle
Yeah.
school.
But also, like, Jake Paul's bullying people now.
Yeah.
That's his thing.
He's a bull. That's his whole deal.
If you live next door to him, your life is hell.
Yeah.
But then his thing with Cody was that he was confronting him for being a bully. So what do you think about that?
What do you think about that?
What do you think about that? So how about that?
So how about
Whenever people like someone's mean to me in middle school, I'm like, I'm sorry, dude. Like outside of like they were, throwing bricks at your head, I'm like, it's middle school.
Well, we talked about middle school is a time where we're all evil. We're all figuring out like what are the lines, like how evil is too evil.
Yeah.
And I think we said before that if I was ever mean to you in elementary, middle, high school, I don't think I was there in high school enough to be mean to anybody. But elementary, middle, you're welcome to contact us and
Yeah.
air out your grievances
Yeah.
there.
Right.
But so far, I haven't gotten any. No one's reached out. So
And like my whole thing is
clearly, the people I bullied are not listening, or they don't care.
I was mean to people, but I was always mean to people that I perceived as being like hotter and better than me. So I
Yeah.
viewed it as like
Liz Lemon.
It was a
Come
Liz
on.
Lemon effect.
like I literally was like, oh no, for sure I can't hurt anyone's feelings because I'm a fucking fat loser. But apparently fat losers can hurt feelings.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, because then it's
knew?
even more. It's like, man, I'm getting my feelings hurt by this fat loser. It's like it's double whammy.
Yeah.
Wow.
I remember there was another influencer where people were like outing her for being mean in middle school. They were like, they were so mean in middle school that the principal had to tell them to stop. And it's like, we can't be going like, they got sent to the principal's office in 6th grade.
Yeah.
Therefore, we should not be watching their Get Ready With Me's.
I do think dramas should be arena specific, and we have to leave every drama in the arena that it was started in. So if your
Middle school drama stays
your
in middle school,
drama stays in
high
middle
school drama stays in high
Yeah.
school.
Or like even like I think this works for social media platforms where I'm like Reddit drama stays on Reddit. Don't bring it to TikTok.
Yeah.
Don't bring YouTube drama to TikTok. Don't bring Twitter drama to Instagram. Let's keep every drama
Yeah.
in its respective
Don't
arena.
bring TikTok drama to Twitter. It's also
No.
funny because no one on Twitter knows anyone on TikTok.
Exactly. No one on Twitter
Yeah,
knows anyone on
everyone's
TikTok.
very
and vice
divided.
versa. I mean, these are complete. Again, it's like how in the old days, if you really blew it at your high school, you could just simply transfer high schools and you kind of got a fresh start.
But now that's gone.
But
You
now
walk into
the
the new
days of
high
that are
school
gone.
and they've already seen all the TikToks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Is that all you have? Wow.
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 Wow, that's powerful shit.
Wow.
That is powerful.
That's powerful stuff right there.
But yeah, the social medias are very segregated.
Yeah, they're just siloed.
Remember when that girl did a get ready with me? She was like, get ready with me. I was a mean girl in middle school. Let's talk about it. And people got so mad.
Really?
People
I
got,
didn't see this.
This had to be like a little over a year ago. People were really mad. It's like, how dare you be a mean girl in middle school? Those were the girls who were mean to me in high school. Okay, by the way, whenever someone on TikTok is like, this is the X type of person is the type of person who were mean to me in high school, I'm just like, I know you sucked in high school. I
Yeah.
tell the truth.
Well,
I know
also
you had
think-
terrible vibes in high school.
At some point, the kind of person who's constantly self-victimizing and thinking about how mean people are to them is in their own way very mean.
Yeah, I mean, what are you bringing to the table?
Exactly. Yeah. And also there's never any accountability for like maybe I did something that did provoke this
Also, it's
behavior
like
a
you're
little
30,
bit.
move on.
You're 30, move on. Most importantly.
Well, with a lot of people, it's like, is your gripe that you were bullied or is your gripe that you were not popular? Because those are very different things, and people confuse them a lot. I never got to sit with the cool kids at high school. Okay, that's
Yeah,
actually not.
yeah.
There's only like 5 seats at a given table.
Yeah.
Not
Oh,
everyone
Gotti.
gets to be popular.
Only
That's
5
true.
seats.
By definition, most people aren't. We weren't.
I wasn't.
You know, Eve probably was, but
No, Eve didn't go to school.
Eve didn't go,
she
so Eve's
said.
exempt.
Yeah. We weren't
Big
popular.
brain.
big brain.
And now we have a podcast that gives back to the people with bluff
bluff
surgeries.
surgery.
Everyone's like, oh, people were mean to me in high school. It's like, tell the truth. Were your blephs busted? Did you have busted
big
blephs?
blephs?
Young old bluff surgery raffle. Bluff surgery not included.
Blephs are not-
Doesn't even have real topics.
I mean, we've been
Is bluff
chatting.
not a real
Sorry.
topic to
No,
you?
it is. It's a real topic.
Maybe we should
It's a real
have. Maybe
topic.
every time there's a lull
What?
in conversation, we can't go. So does anyone have anything to say? So do you guys literally have anything worthwhile?
I'm sorry.
What happened to nobody wants to hear my topics? Where are those topics?
Well,
Where are those so-called
I
topics?
stopped making them because they would always get shut down.
Oh my god! Well, because your topics would be like, so did you guys see that the Secretary of Defense is implicated in a Syrian
I will
conflict?
say,
I'm like, what?
Brianna Chicken Fry and Josh Richards literally just did like a tour where they talked to a bunch of U.S. senators.
Yeah, that's super weird.
Yeah,
Like they just did a video where they talked to like every senator.
I'd love to see the intern like try to explain to the senator why they need to meet with Brianna Chicken Fry
But the
and Josh
senators did,
Richards.
so clearly the intern explained.
That is so.
Like they literally.
I'm like, what timeline is this?
I think
really?
it's about it was about the TikTok ban, but no, they like sat down with like 5 senators. The BFFs podcast.
And what did they
of
talk
Barstool.
about?
I think they talked about how there's going to be like another TikTok ban. So TikTok's supposed to be banned again tomorrow.
Oh,
But I
Doesn't
don't.
really
What
feel
if?
it.
What if
I
the
mean-
senators were like, "Is it true Zach Bryan was abusive?"
yeah.
They basically had them like read the TikTok ban in like TikTok language. So they had like Ro Khanna saying like,
Wait, so is the TikTok
The
ban still
baddie.
happening? What's
In
going?
theory,
what's,
it was
what's-
only
It's
delayed
happened.
originally. It's not like TikTok was safe. So in theory, I think it's still supposed to go into effect.
So
I'm
it's supposed to
sick
be
of
banned
this
on my
shit.
birthday, which is tomorrow.
Happy birthday to
It's supposed to be
Dana.
banned
Thanks.
again tomorrow.
Yeah.
Why have I not?
Because it doesn't matter. To me, I'm just like, okay, take it then.
I think people don't actually want to
Like,
ban it
No,
either.
I don't think it's really going to be banned.
I'm just like,
Also, clearly not if like these senators are spending their time making TikToks with Josh and Brianna.
this
Why would
is
they
such
do
a
that if they
hoax.
thought it was going to be
This
banned?
is such a hoax.
I mean, everybody's posting on TikTok, even the people who then are trying to ban TikTok. It's like, what?
That's so real.
But also, really,
Also,
who
if you have
cares?
to get the word out about something using the thing you're trying to ban, like then you need this platform.
Then what are you
clearly.
doing?
Like it's your only way of communicating with the people at this juncture.
Yeah. Can I circle back briefly to my high school rant
Yes.
of it all? This is something that also always bothers me. It's like when people will be like, I was a nerd in high school. I wasn't like a cool, popular jock. I was a nerd. And my take is it is easier to be a nerd in high school than it is to be a popular jock. It's easier. You don't have to you don't have any social obligations. You don't have to go to like practices. You don't have to juggle schoolwork with staying in shape.
Yeah, there's
It's
no workout
easier.
regimen.
You go home, you watch like Avatar The Last Airbender, you do your homework that's easy for you because that's all you've got, and then you go to bed. You don't have to like text a crush. It's easy.
Yeah.
It's the easiest way to go through high school is to be an unpopular nerd. That's the easiest path.
I would agree. And also, you don't have the pressures of being perceived.
Yeah.
Like, you never have to.
You can be stinky.
Yeah.
You can wear old clothes and be stinky.
No one knows about you. If you're lucky, there's like not one photo of you in the yearbook.
Also, if you do get invited to sit at the popular kids table, that's pressure. You have to bring it conversation wise.
Well, Robert couldn't hang it.
I couldn't
hang
handle
it.
it.
he
They
was
were like-
invited to to play basketball, and he was like, I haven't done his appointment.
And then I realized what I really want to do is watch TV by myself. And that's what these nerds are doing. And it's like, then great.
I mean, I made varsity cheer. And then I didn't go to practice.
And then she blew
too
up like a
fat.
balloon.
I blew up like a balloon.
And not the kind that floats.
But I do think that is because I couldn't take the pressure in some like psychological way. You know,
I imagine that's
to be
true.
fair, I do think this is a plot of a lot of like coming of age shows and movies where it's like you get a look into the popular kids' life, and it's like their parents put a lot of pressure on them to be good at sports, and like there's so much pressure for the girl to like live up to her beauty standards, and like so like I don't really think these are that hot of takes, to be honest.
But I think that's slightly different though, because I'm not saying like those takes are always like, yeah, that popular guy, his dad is punching him in the face every night. I mean, like, even if his dad's nice, if you have equal on an equal playing
Robert's
field,
saying these kids are working harder than you.
they're working harder than you.
Yeah,
They're working harder than you, and it is more difficult.
I mean, it's same with people who are like these privileged influencers, and it's like, babe, pick up your phone.
yeah.
Do it then.
I also think I would like to piggyback off of this and just say, I think that's also why sometimes the labels of like extrovert and introvert kind of like irritate me, because a lot of times people will be like, oh, they're just an extrovert. They're just an extrovert. And I'm like, no, a lot of times they're trying. They're actively exerting their social battery in a way you're not willing to.
Extrovert is an
Like,
effort.
It's an effort. It's all effort. I'm like, and again, I say that as someone who I am like an introvert. Like I choose not to exert my social battery a lot because I do find it draining. But I think that there are a lot of extroverts who, like, if you actually talk to them about it, they also feel drained.
Yeah.
They are just choosing to drain themselves in that way.
They're choosing to bring it.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're
that's what,
choosing-
again, if I'm in a group dynamic and I notice people not talking, again, if ever there's like a big family gathering, and I always say this, it's always like generally speaking, like the aunts and like the female cousins and like the grandma who are carrying it socially. And it is just like, no, you have to carry the burden of social interaction.
Yeah.
That's actually a thing you have to put
Like
effort
there
into.
is an obligation that you're supposed to be fulfilling, and it's not just like, oh, you're shy. Like at a certain age, I do think people, I've heard this said before, but it becomes like a little bit selfish to be like socially awkward or shy, because there is just an expectation that it's like, no, you have to try. Like we're all trying, and it's not natural.
Yeah. When someone says, hey, how are you? And you say nothing back, no, that's not you suffering from being an introvert. You're just being rude.
Rude.
There is like a burden put on you as like a yapper to carry conversations always. And I mean, you know, I'm happy to do that for the people. Also because I can't shut the fuck up if I tried.
Yeah.
Famously, I tried, like I went on a trip to Japan once, and I was like with a bunch of other, you know, like American/Canadian students, and I was like, oh my god, this is my chance to rebrand and be quiet and mysterious. And wouldn't you believe it, I could not shut the fuck up. I couldn't be quiet and mysterious to save my goddamn life.
I tried that every year in school.
To be
Every
quiet
time
and
I'd come back from
mysterious.
summer, I'd be like, okay, I'm
But
in my
it's harder with
mysterious
that
era.
because then it's like people already know who you are. But
No, but I like started
people,
a new
nobody
school.
knew who I
Yeah.
was. Oh,
Like
okay.
I started a new school, and I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna be
Time
quiet
to be
and
quiet and
mysterious.
mysterious.
And like it just like never worked, because the second that the teacher had any question, I had an answer, and I
But
needed
also
to
just
give
like
it.
when people are talking, like you just need, like I'm like, no, I gotta say this.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone in Japan was slightly wrong about a plot line on Once Upon a Time.
And I was like, oh, no.
And thus mysterious era
No,
ended.
Rumpelstiltskin's son is go fire.
He was
I
explaining
just
to
had
us
to
Once
say
Upon a
it.
Time the other night.
Yeah.
And now Robert is getting TikToks
Would
about
you
Once Upon a
believe
Time.
that they didn't know the story of the Piper?
I'm sure the young
Of
Oldenators
paying the Piper?
Well, okay, so on White Lotus this season, the Ratliff family is allegedly supposed to be, how do you call it? Like a stand-in for the Pied Piper myth. Like they represent the myth of the Pied Piper
Piper is the daughter's name. They're the Ratlifts, and she's leading the Ratlifts
to Thailand. And Robert and I didn't know like
The story
we just
of the
didn't know
Pied
the story of the Pied
Piper.
Piper.
I know the gist of it. I don't
Okay,
remember
you
the
keep saying
specifics
that,
of
and
it.
It's like, no, you didn't
Okay, let
know
me
the
recap
story.
for the young
There is
Oldenators in
no,
case they
it's
don't know.
Literally, the story can be summed up into like a sentence. So if you don't
I know the
do you
Pied
wanna tell the
Piper
young
like
Oldenators?
led rats and then did something to kids.
Okay, do you want to tell the young Oldenators?
you make it sound like molested kids and
Just
and
tell
rats.
the young Oldenators the story then.
Molested kids. I know the
I'm
Pied
sure
Piper
that-
molested rats.
You keep
Okay.
saying you're sure that they know,
Yeah,
but
you're
just tell
sure?
them.
Okay. This is my hell. This is my hell.
Okay.
Eve, after like getting made up to like sit under bright lights and hold a microphone,
This is my
being
hell.
asked to talk.
This is my hell. Okay. Basically, there's this dude and he plays a flute and it gets the rats to follow him out of town. And then the people have to pay him for his services, but they're like, nah, bruh. And then he's like, okay, playing my flute to lead your kids to the water to drown then.
Wow, great work, Eve.
And
to think you were an
Anyways,
acting.
I thought, so obviously, like, you know, it's time to pay the piper. It's like a big saying or whatever. And I assumed everybody knew the story of the Pied Piper because it's a very, like, I don't know, common story. And I remember my mom telling me the story and being very haunted by it, which is why I'm like, how do you not remember the kids drowning part? Because, like, that to me,
this
that's
is classic. I'm like, I knew
that's like the most haunting
gist.
part. No,
I
you
knew
didn't.
the gist.
You clearly there's no. You said he did something to kids.
I know he did something
But you
bad.
don't
It's like
know
they
the gist
didn't.
because you just don't know the
Okay.
gist. And
You
I didn't
don't.
either.
I
But
knew
you
the
didn't know the
gist.
gist.
I
No,
did
you
know the
didn't.
gist.
Because
You didn't know it.
The whole thing is that he drowns the kids. That if
Like,
you
that's
don't
the
know that he
whole
drowns
part.
the kids, that's
If you-
the,
Like, you knew
Force
half
me-
of it. You knew the rat part, and that was
He
it.
got rats out of town, but then it was like, if it's time to pay the piper, you got to pay him or he'll do something to your kids. Am I wrong?
What I thought was funny is that my mom had the Pied Piper talk with Eve,
And
but
I was
she
like, wait,
never
mom
had the
never had
Pied
the
Piper
talk with you?
with me.
Mom never had the Pied
Yeah.
Piper talk with you. But also it was re-solidified because in Once Upon a Time, because Peter Pan watch me do the whole thing. that
Eve
I
talked to
did
us for
for
like
you.
40 minutes
Yeah.
about Once Upon a Time.
Also, we
Basically,
never
Peter Pan
demonstrated
plays the flute.
interest.
She talked at us about Once Upon a Time.
But anyways, my point is that I have seen the story of the Pied Piper time and time again, and my mother gave me the talk.
Look, I'll admit
Where
this.
were your parents?
It seems like the Pied Piper was more central to your life and your
I guess
narrative than it was to
so.
me. I know the phrase "time to pay the piper." I kind of have an image of the Pied Piper like
I'm
leading
just like, why
children
is it
somewhere.
so important? No, you don't.
I have an image.
Why
Why would I
is it
lie?
so important to you to like that we think you knew the gist?
Well, because you're acting like I'm totally adrift. I have no understanding of the Pied Piper. I've never heard "Time to Pay the Piper," and I know
and
the
he
gist.
and he like kind of does something to your kid. That's
Am
you.
I incorrect?
That's you. And if you don't pay him, he's gonna like do something with your kid.
But you say that, and I'm like, yeah, correct. That sounds like the gist to me. You're gonna do something to your kid. Don't worry about what.
Okay.
Don't worry about what specifically. Pay the piper.
But
Pay the
Dana
piper.
freshly just found out what the story was.
Yeah, I couldn't have told you the
And
plot
I'm
points,
just like,
and I'm
that's
okay to
crazy.
admit that.
I'm just like, sound off if I said I was born knowing the
yeah.
story.
Eve said she was born, and then our mom had the talk with her and solidified any details that were fuzzy previously.
Right, but I was born knowing. I came with
But
that.
our mom didn't have the Pied Piper talk with me. I learned it
And
from
I'm
a
just
TikTok
like-
about White Lotus.
Yeah.
Just like, how did y'all not have the talk?
We
How
didn't have
come
the
I
talk.
was born knowing it?
My mom liked, but we have different. Like my mom liked Alexander and His No Good, Very Bad Day. That was a big book for us. So everyone
Well,
kind
I
of has
don't
the
think
different.
it wasn't a book.
wasn't a
She
book.
just told me
It's
the
just the
story.
story.
Well, again, I've been told the story. I've
No,
heard
you
the story. I just didn't retain all the details. Well, it's like.
Okay, that's my point. Is you? No, this is
But
my
it's like
hell.
if I
This is
said
my
to you,
hell.
it's like if I said to you, like Prometheus. Do you know what the story of
No, okay,
Prometheus?
no.
And you'd be like, I kind of vaguely know the gist, but I don't know like the specifics of the story. Would that be correct to say?
No, he has to roll the rock up the hill every day.
But why?
Because
No, that's Sisyphus.
Oh man,
That's Sisyphus.
You didn't know
Aw,
either.
man.
What do you think Prometheus
Well, he
does,
stole
bitch?
fire from the
Aw,
gods,
man.
and
Yeah.
they did something to him.
Yeah, Prometheus stole fire from the
Oh,
gods.
what?
eat his liver every day.
He had to do some fucked up shit. But this is what
They
I
eat
mean.
it. The bird eats his liver every
But
day.
it was because he stole fire from the gods
Yeah,
and gave
I
it
knew
to
that.
man.
But Sisyphus is the ball roller.
Okay, Sisyphus is. This is my hell.
This is my hell.
This is literally
the
my
other
hell.
night, Eve knocks on our door. We're hanging out here. Eve knocks on our door. She knocks on our door.
Yeah.
She comes in. And we go like, hey, what's up? Are you coming from workout class? And she like clams up,
Yeah.
doesn't want to answer. And then we're like, what's the deal? Like, what'd you do today? And she goes, this is my hell. Stop with the questions. It's like, you knocked on our door to
Also,
enter
like,
a social
why
environment.
is it so draining for you to answer basic questions about what you did? To me, I always thought like if you're just asking someone to tell you the truth, like that shouldn't tax them.
We're like, where are you coming from? You could just say, oh, I'm coming from Pilates. But instead you go,
No. How do you know that I'm not like a secret agent doing things that if I told
you're a
you
secret
I
agent, you
had
should
to
have a way
kill
better
you?
cover story.
And so you're like, oh, if you telling the truth should be easy. It's like I can't tell the truth.
No, but if
or
you were a
you'll have
secret
to
agent, then you'd have a
die.
cover story. That would be your job. Your job would be to come
What
up
if
with
I'm
lies
just
that you
really
could
bad at my
retreat
job?
quickly.
yeah, you couldn't be a secret agent because if you're like undercover
yeah.
in an evil syndicate and the evil villain is like, so, agent, who do you work for? You can't just be like, so many questions.
I mean, maybe you could. That's a pretty good. That's pretty good vibe.
Yeah. Also, why is it easier for you to literally narrate the Wikipedia of Once Upon a Time than it is for you to be like, oh yeah, I just coming from a workout class?
Well, instead of asking me about my day, maybe ask like, oh, how was Rumpelstiltskin's day? And then I can.
But we don't want to know
I
about
don't know about
Rumpelstiltskin's
I don't
day.
want to know about
We don't
this.
care about Rumpelstiltskin.
I guess I just think I'm boring, and I think Rumpelstiltskin is interesting.
So you
I'm
just
like,
find,
now there's a guy
so
you
you
wanna
find yourself
talk
too
about.
boring to talk about?
Yeah,
Is
I
that
guess.
what it
Well, because
is?
it's just like,
Why would you
want
wanna
to
know-
Pilates?
Yeah, but like, why is that
That's so. Also, because it's okay. I
Because
already.
then we can ask.
I
We're not
always
trying to be
say this.
entertained. We're trying
Yeah,
to know
we're trying to know
information.
I always say this,
Yeah.
but like it's boring because I already know the answer.
But you also already know what
The
happened
answer
on
to
Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, but it's like I'm rewatching it by telling it
So you're
again.
saying that your own life isn't worth like rewatching. It's not worth a
So
revisit.
while you're
Yeah.
talking to us about the plot of Once Upon a Time, in your head, you're seeing it fresh.
Yeah, no, actually, yeah. I sometimes do that, like when I'm going to sleep. It's like I'll like summarize books or movies or whatever. Like my Sarah J. Maas books, I'll like go through the series and I'll summarize each book
In
to
your mind?
myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, I used to have a really hard time falling asleep, and then Robert one time was like, "Dana, you need to think about like good things before you fall asleep." Do you remember that?
Yeah, I was saying you need to think about good stuff, and you need to think about think about stuff you want to do, or like think
Yeah.
about like edits you would make to things you're working on, or
Yeah.
think about ideas you have for
And that
movies
actually
you'd like
really
to see.
that really helped me start falling asleep and like having nicer dreams and stuff like that. But before that, I literally thought that when you lied down to go to sleep, you were supposed to think about the things that like stressed you out the most.
You were supposed to
and,
doom
like,
spiral.
and like just send yourself into a tailspin.
Wait, what do you
So I'd
mean
be, like,
you thought you were supposed to
no,
do
like,
that?
like I don't know. Like I literally think that's just how I was wired or programmed. Where like I would like lay down and be like, my taxes, I'm never gonna make it. Like like I thought I was supposed to do that, and I'd feel like it'd make me feel more anxious to like not think about like things that stress me out the most. And then Robert was like, don't do that, and then I stopped, and my life has been better since, and I fall asleep much more quickly.
Well, it's like Dana used
well,
to.
I could have told you that.
Yeah.
But what?
Dana used to wake up at like 6 a.m.
Yeah.
and she would refuse to go back to sleep.
And then
th-
she'd be like, "This is who I am."
I'd be like, Dana, you have to go back to sleep. And you're like, no, I'm someone who wakes up at 6 a.m. That's who I am. That's who I am. That's who I am.
And it ultimately wasn't who I was, and now I wake up at like 9.
Now you wake up
Wow.
at a normal
And,
time.
and I am more pleasant, I think, generally.
That was also when you would fall asleep at like 8 p.m. because
Yeah.
you woke up at 6 a.m. And
Oh
then,
yeah, and we'd be watching a movie or something, and then she would want to turn it off and go to bed, and we'd be like, "Bruh."
and we'd finish the movie. We'd be like, no, we're going to finish the movie because we'd be in here. And Dana would just fall asleep. And then she'd wake up as the credits were playing and she'd get so bad. Classic Dana.
Anyway, not anymore.
And you'd be
though.
like, we watched it without me.
It's like, we actually watched it with you. You were just unconscious.
well,
Also, remember when you used to go on your phone and then be like, "This movie makes no sense."
I do remember that. I
will-
don't do
yeah.
that anymore.
You don't do that anymore. But yeah, we would literally be watching a movie and Dana would be on her phone the whole time. Then she'd look up during like mid-action sequence and go, is it just me or do action scenes like this not make any sense? And we're like, you haven't watched a frame of this film. You have not watched a frame of this film.
But I don't do that anymore. I pay attention to the movie,
Growth.
and and I don't go to bed at 8, and I don't wake up at 6, and things are pretty good over here.
Things are now pretty good.
Things are pretty
Now
good.
we're just kind of listing. This isn't even a grievance, but it's just an interesting observation. It's like I'll like be walking by the bathroom and Eve will be in there and I'll hear the sound of Family Guy playing. And then I'll walk like upstairs to like the TV room and then there'll be a paused Family Guy episode. And it's like Eve can't go a minute and a half without a continuous Family Guy.
No, also what's so funny about Eve is she loves to watch the same thing on 3 sizes of screen. So sometimes she's on her phone watching Family Guy, sometimes she's on the iPad watching Family Guy, sometimes she's on the TV watching Family Guy, but it is always
She'll be
playing.
like, I'm watching Family Guy on the screen, big screen. Oh, I need to go get a glass of water. Pause, instantly play on phone while she gets water, come back,
Like,
play.
yeah.
And it's like there can be no break in the Family Guy.
Yeah.
It's like the way like you'll see like those viral TikToks when they're stolen, they'll have like beside the actual clip, there's just like, like slime or something, and there's like a Family Guy clip playing.
Eve's
it's like
life
that's
is
Eve's
slime.
life.
Yeah.
She always has Family Guy on like the left side of the screen.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, I'm allowed.
And there we go.
I'm allowed is
Because
such
I'm
a...
allowed.
It's such a load-bearing Donnelly phrase. I'm allowed.
And like, why not? Like, do you know what make this moment better? Family Guy. Right now, I wish we
I
could
know.
have it right here
Yeah.
on the screen.
That would, yeah. Eve would literally love that. If somehow there was a TV there and there was just Family Guy
And
playing
she
at
could
all
watch
times.
Family Guy whenever Trump said something
if
she
I'm
didn't like.
Yeah.
Right, if I'm cooking or something, like, you know what'd make this better? Family Guy.
But it's also one thing to be like, oh, I'm cooking and I'll have my show on. It's like you'll be watching your show and then you have to take a quick break, but the show can't take a break.
yeah. Well, it's like if I'm watching the show and I have to go to the bathroom, my phone is coming and it's playing it.
The Family Guy.
Yeah. Then I'll go back to the TV.
And then that's
Also, it's like,
Family
why
Guy.
would streaming have it so that you can do it on different device and it updates the time that you're at in the show?
Why would streaming
Why
have
would
that?
they
Why
do
would they
that?
have
They didn't
it?
want you to
They
do that.
want-
But
Eve's
obviously they
doing it
do
right.
want you to do that. They want all of your attention.
Yeah.
Attention is currency in today's economy, in the technocracy we live in.
And I'm a good person.
Eve's thriving in the
Yeah.
technocracy.
Yeah.
Eve's a dedicated servant of the technocracy.
You're welcome, Hulu.
Yeah. And me, I'm watching a TV show and I need to go to the bathroom. I pause and then just go to the bathroom without it. I'm like, I'm
Also,
basically
it's like
Amish.
you say that like
Yeah.
you're not like scrolling your own Instagram reel stats on like I've seen
Okay,
you on your computer,
outed.
Instagram reel stats, walk on phone, Instagram reel stats, and like you wish you could airplay it to the TV. I know you
But
do.
but also that's a crucial difference though. Is like it's not like I'm watching my own Instagram on the TV and then watching on my phone. It's like, oh, I'll check my like analytics while a show is going on. I'm not saying you can't be on your phone while watching TV. It's just interesting to me that like there can never be a break in the entertainment. It
Yeah.
has to be all the time.
and I'm just like, what? And I'm like, what? What's
you're
the
allowed.
issue? And I'm allowed.
Eve's allowed to do that. Dana's
And
allowed
what's
to
so
do whatever
wrong?
she wants. I put an extra ice cube in my water and I'm loading it up.
And
Okay.
that's the rules. And them's the rules.
And them's the breaks.
Welcome to the young old house.
I'm just like, that's how life is meant to be lived. Why would you want to just go around in silence?
Dude, what did people do? What did go around in silence? You're supposed to have your own
Yeah,
thoughts.
yeah.
You're supposed to have an inner monologue. Go around in silence. Do you think that when I
No,
watch
but you want to know what my inner monologue is doing? Family Guy funny.
your
That's
inner
my inner
monologue is like,
monologue.
how is Stewie gonna get out of this one?
Yeah, that's my inner monologue.
Oh, Lois is at her wit's end with Peter today.
Yeah. Are you seated?
I'm seated.
Is your
I'm
tummy
set.
tucked?
My tummy's tucked.
How's your bluffs?
Bluff still
bluffed
bulgy.
up.
Still don't have money
I
to
just
fix
went to
it.
the bathroom with no Family Guy. Most boring time in my life.
We heard her screaming in agony the whole time. It's like, ah!
What's Stewie up to?
I say?
Yeah.
Well,
I do think we should do a Family Guy photo shoot.
Yeah,
I think that's
will.
because we have to do some
Yeah.
photo shoots too.
We
I think
do.
people
We
would
really
like
have to get some
that.
photo
I think
shoots
people would
done.
enjoy it.
I mean, we are going to JCPenney for my photo shoot tomorrow.
For
my
her
birthday photo
30th
shoot.
birthday, she's turning 30.
I'm turning 30. You guys, that's actually crazy for real.
I mean, that's nutso.
It's not so.
People like it is funny when people on the internet, I think they assume 30-year-olds look like shit because people will comment like on videos where you mention that you're turning 30 and they're like, I literally thought you were 14.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or they're like, you look great. It's like 30-year-olds, that's like your athletic prime.
Yeah, 30 is like not old. I do think
Yeah.
there's been some sort of like grave misconception about what 30 looks like.
Yeah.
Because I think I do look 30.
I mean, yeah. I mean, all like
Non-derogatory.
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 I think I look 30. Yay.
I mean, like the cast of Friends, they were all 30.
Yeah.
New Girl, everyone is post 30.
But
Sex
even,
in the
like,
City, everyone's post 30.
The movie 13 going on 30. Yeah, I love that Sex in the City. They're all like mid 30s. Samantha's
No, mid-30s.
40 when the
but
show
same
starts.
with New Girl, they're all mid 30s.
Yeah, but also like I'm like 13 going on 30. The whole point is like that she wants to be a hot 30-year-old.
Right, right.
It's like when did it become like 30's so freaking old?
I don't know.
Because I don't think that was like a 90s.
No, it
I
wasn't.
I think it's an internet age thing because on the
Yeah.
internet, the average person
It's
who's famous
12.
is like, yeah, in their
Or like
teens.
no, I think it's because the average age of internet users and commenters is so low. I think it's like so many people on the
then
internet
kids
are fucking
think
kids.
everyone is old.
Yeah.
Like when you're
Yeah.
a kid, you think a 20-year-old is ancient.
Okay, well, it's actually
Yeah.
so funny to look back and be like I was one of those like weird 11-year-olds who was always online, Omegle, chat rooms, etc. And I'm like, and I would always pretend.
Wow.
What? Like you didn't do that?
No,
No,
I
but I'm like,
didn't.
you're
Like,
you're
like
you're
what?
feeling
Just
I was
like
one of those
ruh-roh.
10-year-olds who was always on, chat
sites
roulette,
where,
the
sites
dark
where men
web.
show their pee-pee.
Yeah.
What those sites are.
Those sites, that's what a lot of those sites were grown
Don't
men.
make a face.
Well,
like,
I just like to chat because I was lonely.
Yeah, that's sadder. That's so sad.
I wasn't showing anyone my D.
Your D? No. What?
I would.
We're
What?
saying that's concerning for you because it implies you spent
Yes,
a lot of times
time
as a preteen
looking
getting
at
exposed to
men's
adult
pee-pee.
content.
Yeah, but I would just skip that. Obviously.
Yeah, but still.
but still.
But what my point is, like,
Also, a lot of them wait.
What do you mean?
Like they'll be like, "Hey, how's it going?" Boom, pee-pee.
Remember when like there was a boom,
And you're like, "Finally, not a pee-pee." Boom, pee-pee.
and that's what you were messaging because you were lonely.
No, but one point of this was
Or I
that-
guess you could do the non-video. You can
Yeah,
just
you
do,
can
but
just
then they're like,
chat.
but then they're like in the chat, like, picture my pee-pee.
But then you leave. Like when they go picture
No,
my
I-
PV, you leave.
But what would
Okay.
keep you? What would make you stay? Like, what would they say that
Any
was
sort
just
of like normal conversation.
She's like, "Hey, I'm a cute 12-year-old boy." She's 12 at this time.
She's 12
This
at
isn't
this.
weird.
okay?
And then Dana's like, "Oh, awesome."
I mean, I don't know,
Right?
man.
I would
You see,
assume.
yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I was just like awesome. No, but what I was saying, if you would listen for 2 seconds,
Sorry.
was I would often.
Could you be a little louder?
I used to use it like to be like to amuse myself. So I'd pretend to be all kinds of ages and genders. So I'd be in there like, oh, I'm a 47-year-old man. Like I'm a welder and I just
You're
killed
like-
someone.
I like how you're like,
Welder and I just killed someone.
you're annoyed that Eve and I were laughing as if it was weird. And they're like, it's not weird. I was just saying that I was a 47-year-old welder on the run from the police for killing someone.
Didn't you say you and our friend Julia were messaging somebody and then they said that they like killed themselves?
well, that was our friend
and
from
then-
Neopets.
Oh, and
So
then
that was
her
when we were on
mom got
Neopets.
like.
Yeah, basically, we realized that we were getting got by someone, and they were saying that they were like committing suicide, and they weren't.
But then her friend's
Yeah,
mom
but my
hopped
friend's
on the chat.
mom hopped on the chat
and
and
was
really
like,
put the fear of God
"Listen, lady,
into the person who was
you
lying
tell
about.
these children you're not killing yourself right now."
Yes, that did happen. But what I was basically saying is like, how many people were on the internet, all kids, pretending to be?
So what if
a
there's
myriad
no
of people?
pedos on the
That's
internet
what
at
I'm
all? It
saying.
is
That's,
Yeah.
just kids
literally what I was
pretending
trying to get to.
be welders who killed someone.
Yeah.
Yes.
What if no welders have actually ever killed anyone? If they're all just children pretending to be welders who killed someone.
Whoa.
Great. Glad we arrived there.
Yeah.
Glad we kind of cut through
No,
the noise.
I think this is because I would also be like weird. Usually it was like email chain like vibes. Like I would find people via email chains and then just send them weird stuff. And so like, but like I would sound like a weird creep, but really I was a 10-year-old.
That's what I'm
girl.
saying. I was saying, like, how many weird creeps on the
Yeah.
internet are 10-year-old
How many
girls?
weird
Because
creeps
I
are
know that
10-year-old
I was
girls?
a 10-year-old girl pretending
so
to be a weird creep.
same.
Okay,
Wait a minute.
I know that. So
What mental illness is that?
The
What is
weird
this?
creeps are pretending to be little girls, and you're little girls, and you're pretending to be middle-aged men.
yes.
Oh, yes,
Like,
it's reverse. So
yeah,
the
it's
men pretend to be
reverse.
girls, and the girls pretend to be creeps.
Yeah.
But I'm saying why
Something to think
30,
about.
all this to say why 30 seems old is because everyone on the internet is 10, including the people you think are 30.
So, okay, wait.
Yeah, wait.
Advice. If you're a child on the
Yeah.
internet,
Yeah.
don't talk to anyone that says they're a child. Only talk to people that say they're a creepy
Because
adult.
Because
Those
that's
are
how you
the
know
real
those are the real
Basically,
children.
just know that everyone on the internet is lying. So
no
whatever
creepy adult.
it is.
No creepy adult would say they're a creepy adult. That's
But also no
obviously
child
a
is saying
child.
they're a child. Like that's
Right?
I always thought that
No
was so
child is
real.
like, I'm a
Like,
child.
I knew this innately where I'm like, if I say I'm fucking 8, no one's gonna want to talk to me in the chat room.
Right.
Because they're gonna be like, who wants to talk to a fucking 8-year-old? I didn't want to talk to another 8-year-old, so I'd be like, I'm a 27-year-old businesswoman and my husband just attacked me.
Why is
What
you
is
always
this
just
weird
being attacked?
crime
or like-
element?
No, I want
element.
drama because I want people to stay.
Oh,
Because if you don't
right.
say crazy shit on the internet,
If you
people
don't
leave the
say your
chat.
husband
It's like
attacked
the
you,
like
they'll leave.
no, you have to say crazy shit to get people to pay attention to you on the internet. That's like always been a thing.
Dude, honestly, at this
What?
time, I can't relate because, as I've mentioned before, my parents wouldn't let me have internet access, and I listen to you guys, and I'm like, maybe they were so right. Maybe they were right in a way I didn't
I
even
did some
conceive
really weird
of.
shit on the internet 100%. Like
I'm still thinking about how it's actually really good advice for children to only talk to people who say they're adults. Don't talk to anyone who says they're a child.
Yeah. And actually, if you're a child and you're out and about, only talk to people who seem like adults because those are two kids stacked on top of each other in an overcoat.
Yeah.
And you can trust them.
yes, 100%.
Everything's counterintuitive.
Look, if you're going to go on the internet, just do normal stuff like Google what is a bluff supposed to look like.
That's
Whatever
what you
happened to
should
that?
be doing.
Yeah. What?
What do you mean, what? You hit me with so much stuff where I'm like, I've never heard that before.
What do you mean? You never went on Omegle? You never went on Chat
didn't have
Roulette?
internet.
You never.
No,
He
the
was
only
working
time
so
all?
hard to get a
The
come
only-
on TV.
The only time Chat Roulette ever it was at school. So people go on Chat Roulette on like the school computers.
Yeah.
And so
Was that
as
not,
a
like,
group
I guess
at
they-
school, I would like see Chat Roulette. Remember when
Yeah.
that was like it was like One Direction was on Chat Roulette? It wasn't really them obviously,
Yeah.
but it was like fake One Direction.
Oh,
Dude,
I
when they
don't
started
remember
doing,
that.
or like fake Justin Bieber, people would always get fake Justin Bieber.
Oh.
Yeah. Like once people started being able to like fake video stuff, those sites also became like unusable because it became like way less real people, way more like whatever.
I see.
By the way, a bunch of people, Justin Bieber did some Instagram live where he was like, I don't know, like he was like kind of like being weird, and everyone's like immediately was like, Justin Bieber is insane. Justin Bieber is losing his mind. And I'm like, man, it would suck to be a celebrity because I'm like, what do you mean you can't like goof off sometimes?
Yeah.
I would totally have people like doing conspiracy theories about me if I was that level of famous.
Yeah.
Could I get on Instagram live and just be like, and then I'd put my phone down.
is what he
Robert
does.
needs to be committed.
Robert
but
needs to
also
be
it's like
committed.
that is so real where I'm like people always are in the comments like if you're not like hello fans, they're like wow, this person doesn't have any media training. Like you're just like, hey guys, what's up? They're like, does she sound drunk or is
Yeah.
that just me? You know?
If you just get on Instagram live and just do something normal like
Yeah.
people are like, what's wrong with Robert?
Yeah.
I loved his music, but what is this?
Wait, okay, but you never chatted with strangers online? Like that wasn't like a part
He
of
didn't
your
have.
No.
He
No,
was
I
working
did not have
overtime for the
internet.
Kumon TV.
I was doing Kumon shit. That Kumon story is happening at the same time as you doing this.
pretending to be a welder.
Me climbing the ladder at Kumon to get to watch Friends, a show rated TV PG. That's happening while you're, on Neopets talking to someone who's faking their own suicide. That's what's going on.
I would love to know from the young Oldenators, did you talk to like random strangers online? Like to me, I thought that this was a really normal
Anyone
hobby
who
to
had
have. And
unfettered
like,
internet access
Yeah.
did, for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, also, I think this is also a Silicon Valley thing where you two are from Silicon Valley. So you guys actually had two liberal a view of tech. It was very much like, we're giving everyone access to everything all the time because that's the future. And it's like your 9-year-old is messaging a grown man pretending that her husband just assaulted her.
no, pretending
at
that
the
I'm a
plant.
grown man who's older than the grown man I'm talking to.
But also, you
And I'm like-
pretend to be a woman whose husband assaulted her.
I pretended to be lots of different things. I couldn't even recount all the different kinds of characters I'd pretend to be. I pretended I was every age, every gender, every profession, every like.
You're like Scarlett
sordid
Johansson when she's like,
saga.
I should be allowed to play a tree. I could pretend to be whatever I want.
I'm pretty sure like I would like give men advice as as an older, more experienced man. than them.
worry, bro.
Yeah,
It's gonna be okay, man.
Yeah.
When I was your
I was doing a lot of when I was your age. When I was your age was probably like a go-to phrase that I used in chat. And it would be like someone who was like 17. And I'd be like, when I was your age, I was 7,
Dude,
Right.
every time you're like, I
Right.
was unpopular in middle school. And then I'm like, yeah, I bet.
Well, no, if
You were
anything-
pretending to be everything except a normal girl in your
If
class.
anything, this was one thing that actually did get me invited to sleepovers sometimes was people knew that I was like, it would make it funny to be on
weirdo.
Omegle.
Okay.
And so people would invite me to their sleepovers and we'd go on Omegle and chat roulette and stuff.
Again, I would go to sleepovers. There wasn't like a single kid we brought in because he was with it on Omegle. We just didn't have, that wasn't a slot that was filled.
That was a draw. That was a party trick of mine.
This is like
was
what-
I always.
That's a party
What
trick.
party trick?
I'm a welder who killed someone.
Because I think you guys underestimate how hard it is to actually get strangers to keep talking to you on the internet.
Right,
You-
most people
Like
skip.
most people skip, and I'm
you
like, I was so good at
overestimate
that.
how impressive that is to me. I don't care. I don't you overestimate how impressive it is that you managed to get like a 55-year-old man maybe to
No, it was-
message you back.
Probably like a 12-year-old girl pretending to be a 55-year-old man.
And you were a 12-year-old girl also pretend to be a 35-year-old man.
Also,
Two
imagining
55-year-old
yeah.
men throwing out.
Yeah.
Oh,
What?
well, I think Family Guy's done a bit about this, where it's like the two pedos meet up because they both think that they're 12-year-old girls.
That's
But then the flip side is like the two 12-year-old girls who are pretending to be
Yeah.
men.
And I do think that would form a lasting bond in friendship.
It's so real.
The 12-year-old girls
Yeah.
pretending to be middle-aged men.
Yeah. I think
Did you make any lasting friendships from that?
Well, I had friends who thought it was funny to do with me. Like they thought it was funny to pretend that we were an old man. I can't believe you're like,
you
seem so
she was
off-put by
weird
this.
in middle
I'm not
school?
off-put. It's just a lot to process. Well, what do you mean? I am off-put. It's like crazy. crazy thing to say. What do you mean? I like on my answer, he's like, no, I mean, no, I'm not off-put or anything. That's totally normal. I'm just like,
You really think that's weird?
it is definitely weird. Eve, would you agree?
Eve did the same thing.
I
she
did the same
said.
thing.
Yeah.
I did the same thing.
I think that's strange.
I do think I probably learned it from you.
Yeah,
You
probably.
probably
I
like
think you are contagious.
you taught Eve that this is what's normal to do.
I do. I actually have vivid memories of you coaching me.
Wait, what?
Like, like now that we're talking about
Yeah.
this, like all of a sudden,
It's
like
flooding
it's
back.
flooding back.
Yeah.
And well, you and Julia.
Yeah.
Like the chat thing, and then being like, oh, like say you're this, say you're that.
Say you didn't get the big promotion and your wife is taking it out on you physically. No, say that. Eve's 6. Say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how you get people to keep talking to you.
No one.
You have a story.
Why would that be
You
your
have a
goal?
buy-in.
You know what I talk to? I would talk to people in my class. That's what I'd message.
Yeah, but no one in my class would message me. Like they didn't want to talk to me.
Okay, do you see any sort of link between the two things? That this is what you're doing and people don't want to talk to you?
I always thought it was like really boring to talk to kids in my class because they'd always be like, "Hey, sup," and then you're supposed to be like NM, but I really didn't like the like what you were supposed to do, so I would obviously like
Be like, I'm a 47-year-old.
They'd be like,
I
hey,
think it's like-
sup?
I've
And you're
always
like,
liked to make
what's
shit
going
up.
on with your fake wife? Maybe that's why you like me, because I do bits where I have a
I
fake
think
wife.
so. I think so.
Well, it's like
Just
Ja-
it
Wow,
feels familiar
finally
to me.
someone who
Yeah.
pretends
Well, it's
they're
like
a well
that Jaden.
killed someone.
It's like that Jaden Smith clip where he's like, people my own age, you know, they're
Oh
just like,
my God,
let's
that's
go
like
to
a-
parties and drink. And it's like, can we just talk about how like I'm a construction worker whose wife is beating him? Can we just do that?
You are Jaden Smith coded in that way. Can we talk about the political and economic
You're
state
really
of the
Jaden
world?
Smith. Well, that's my thing too. As much as people sometimes on the internet will make fun of like the Smith kids, I'm like not unfortunate, but like the reality is like they are cool as hell.
Yeah, they're cool as
Like
frick.
Willow Smith,
Her
it's
music
funny that like
rocks.
she'll drop a song once every 3.5 years, and it's just a banger.
Dude, do you
Yeah.
remember when we saw her at Soul Cycle eons ago?
No.
No, I didn't get
She
to
was
see her.
reading that book that like everyone was reading at the time, and I don't remember what it was. But you were the one who spotted her. I saw her as well. It was like when we
I've seen Jaden Smith also.
years ago.
Oh.
Like back when we first started going to Soul Cycle. Like
I don't
you were
remember that
living
at
in
all.
LA, I think.
Yeah.
And I was visiting you, and we went, and she was there, and
Oh,
she
I
was
don't
reading a
remember
book,
that.
which is like now I'm thinking, looking back, and I'm like, reading a book while waiting at Soul Cycle is unhinged behavior, in my opinion.
Oh, because she wasn't watching Family Guy.
Yeah.
Well, no, just like how long are you even waiting at Soul Cycle? Like
Okay,
a minute?
that I agree with you, but also I've seen you like you'll be waiting for our table at a restaurant. The wait time is like 3 minutes, and you will be watching like Lucifer on your
Yeah,
phone.
well, it's
This is hell.
there's time for Lucifer.
Like,
Is
I
there time for
agree with
Lucifer?
you, but also I know
this
you
one
don't
time
agree
we were
with
on
you.
vacation, and I was watching like probably the new season of Lucifer. Back when they were still making new seasons of Lucifer. Rip. And they were like, okay, Eve, it's time to go to dinner. And I was like, oh, okay. And then we're off to go to dinner, and then we're sitting there waiting. And I'm like, there was more time to watch Lucifer.
And then she watched a little bit of
And
Lucifer
so
on
now
her phone.
whenever somebody tells me to do something and there's even a second of extra time, that's what we call there was more
There was
time
more
for
time for
Lucifer.
Lucifer. But I saw Jaden Smith at the Calabasas Commons, and he was having a very animated
I
conversation.
can't believe
with
you
a
don't
friend.
remember when we saw Willow.
I know. I don't know why.
Well, this must have been before her meet me at our spot.
No, it was
Yeah.
this
It was with my
years
hair
ago.
ago.
It
Like
wouldn't have felt as
years.
significant at the time because you did not know how cool she was.
Like
That's
no, but
true.
you were the one who was like, "Oh my god, it's Will Smith."
Okay, now that you're saying it, it is like I'm like I can conjure
And she was
a
reading.
memory
She was
of
reading
it.
a book that was like you
Yeah.
were like, "Oh, she was reading this book."
It was
I
probably
didn't-
The Idiot or something.
So I don't remember.
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. I have a vague recollection of this.
It was like Where the Wild Things Are. She's reading like a children's
It
book
was
before
Alexander's
Soul
No
Cycle.
Good, Very Bad Day.
No Good,
It was
Very
the
Bad
Pied
Day.
Piper.
It was the Pied
Pied
Piper.
Your parents didn't give you the talk. It's also like I feel like parents like haven't given their kids seriously the Pied Piper talk since like the medieval times or whenever that story first came about.
I think it's the
Look.
1400s.
Yeah.
It was a Germanic tribe called the Saxons. As in
Saxons,
Saxon
as in from
the
White Lotus. Dude, people's White Lotus, I know this is also talked about, but it's like, man, I have no theories. And I think people's theories, pretty much every one of them are so stupid.
But we'll see if they're stupid when we see the final episode.
I guess that's true.
Like,
yeah.
it's easy to call a theory stupid and then it happens, you know?
But sometimes I'm like, even if this happens, I'm like, what?
What
I
theories
guess.
did you
what,
think
yeah,
were
what
stupid?
theories do you not like?
Well, okay, I think people are like my theory. Just like the theories are also just like they're like so intricate and involved It's like, my theory is it's going to come out that Saxon has a friendship with one of the monkeys at the resort. And then the monkey knows that Saxon wants to have sex with the British girl. So the monkey's going to seduce the British girl and they're going to get married. And then Victoria Ratliff, she's going to stand up and say, I oppose this union. And the monkey then is going to take off their mask and it's going to be the business partner who screwed over the dad. And then he's going to kill Victoria.
Watch that happen in the last episode,
Yeah,
and you're so wrong.
But
I hope that
even
you
if
need
that,
to put that up so that goes viral as a White Lotus theory.
even if that does happen, it's still stupid. It's still stupid.
Okay, well, the theory I like is the one where the Ratliff dad, poisons them with the fruit that they were told was poisonous in the first episode.
that to me is a normal theory because they did set up that the fruit is poisonous. That does
Yes.
make sense to me.
I have heard that the monkey, like a theory that the monkeys will be the shooters.
That's a real one. I've
If
heard.
there's CG monkeys shooting people with a gun, it's just like, what is?
Well, that
what are
doesn't
we
like the
watching?
vibe of the show.
That's
That
what
really
I'm
doesn't
saying.
seem
It's
like
not the
what
vibe.
White would set up.
I also, generally speaking, I'm not a big theories guy, and I learned my lesson with Game of Thrones because look, there's some things in the later seasons that aren't great, but a lot of people's disappointment was they would have these insane theories that would then, when they didn't come true, they would be disappointed, and it's like it's not the show's fault
Yeah.
that you thought the little crippled boy was gonna become a dragon wolf, and he didn't.
Yeah.
That's you though.
Yeah, that's you though.
Yeah.
I will say, like, sometimes fan theories are so like fun and intricate that it is like, oh, you get disappointed by the show. That's what happened with me in Yellow Jackets. Like, was season 1, I got really into like the fan theory Reddits, and honestly, the fan theory Reddits were, dare I say, better and more exciting than what
the
was
real.
on screen.
Yeah.
And then it made it so I didn't even want to watch because I was like, well, I like these fans. I want to believe these fan theories.
Yeah. I'm like, what if I watch the White Lotus finale and Saxon ain't even friends with a monkey like that? Then what is this
Then
all for?
what has this all been for?
It's so real.
I've been invested for what?
We did watch the season of Survivor that the White Lotus writer was on. And then I saw a TikTok that's a montage of all the Survivor castmates that have had cameos on White Lotus. And again, blew my mind.
So cool. So many
I
of
didn't
them.
know
were
So
that.
many of them. It's
So
not
many
like they
from
only
Mike
have like
White's
one
season.
line here or there, but it's like
it's really fun.
It's really fun because
Wow.
you put a ton of the people he was in Survivor with on the show.
Damn.
And
It's
that
super
rips.
cool. It was really fun. I mean, Mike White's Survivor arc, iconic and epic.
Yeah, I
Did we
mean,
say that we watched the whole Mike White season?
I mean,
Survivor?
I don't know,
We
but
did. We loved it. Mike White came in second. If you're unfamiliar on Survivor, rock on.
Also, like, what a life, man.
What a freaking life.
You write School of Rock, you're in School of Rock, you do the White Lotus, and you get second place in Survivor.
Yeah.
Also, you don't need the money, so you're not even disappointed that you didn't get first place.
It's also crazy because Robert and I went to a White Lotus event before we were really fans of Mike White and the show. And on hindsight, I'm like, wow, that's really cool.
Yeah. Dana was invited by Twitter back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day when I was
when
still
it was
on
still Twitter.
Wow.
And that's also how back to how social media is.
Wait, so sorry. I'm so sorry. Eve's really bored. So Eve, who is
Rumpelstiltskin.
Cinderella in Once Upon a Time? She's like
We
she's
met-
like a punk rock
we
like
met the
motorcycle
actress-
repair woman.
No, she's not. She's just pregnant. I told you that. Okay, well, we met the actress who played Cinderella in Once Upon a Time once, and I was like, oh my God, I totally know you from something. And she was like, I do a lot of Hallmark movies. And I was like, no, that's not it. And then later I discovered she was Cinderella, and I was like, why didn't she lead with that?
It's so interesting.
Why would she say Hallmark
Well,
movies?
because to
Queen,
her-
you're Cinderella.
Because to
Queen,
her,
you're
that was
Cinderella.
probably like her greatest shame of like a job she took for the money.
But
And to you,
I'm
it's
just
her
like, why do
crowning
you
achievement.
Think, why do you think you know? Also, it's like, look at me. I clearly know you from Once Upon a Time.
Well, also actors are very.
clearly
Yeah.
don't know you from
She's
Hallmark
giving
movies.
Once Upon a Time fan.
Also, Eve and I, we were on this set at the same time. It was Eve and I because Dana was sick. And Eve's like, we met the actress from Cinderella. It's like Eve met the Cinderella actress from Once Upon a Time. I met some lady. It was nothing to me, but
Okay, well,
Is anyone else starving?
no.
I ate before. Like you were supposed to do so you don't get rejection sad.
Yeah. I have to go to the mall to buy someone some birthday presents.
Oh.
I have to say.
Pretty last minute.
Yeah.
No, I have
You're
stuff
cutting
being
it
delivered.
close,
No, I
bro.
have stuff being delivered also. I have stuff being delivered.
Sure you
cutting it
do.
kind of close.
Sure,
I do, but that's also the problem. Like, I would love to surprise Dana, but like even like earlier today, I was like, all right, are you gonna film like a video for your social media after we do Young Old? Because I have some errands to run. And of course, Dana immediately, what errands? Where are you going? Where are you going? Where do you think you're going? Who are you going
There was a
with?
box at the bottom of the driveway, and I'm like, oh, there's a box. And Robert's like, oh, I'll get it later. And I'm like, well, I'll go. Why don't I get it now?
And I'm like, oh, because I thought it was something that was being delivered for Dana. I'm like, oh, I'll just get that later. Don't worry about it. Why wouldn't I worry about it? What's
Why
in
shouldn't
there?
I worry about it?
Why shouldn't I get that? And then I'm like, yes, I think it's a present for you.
She's like, what?
Mm.
Anyway, my nosiness ruins everything.
Yeah.
Well, my gift for Dana is gonna be that I'm gonna make her a birthday salmon.
Yes, and I can't wait
Oh,
for my
that's a
birthday
great
salmon.
gift.
Well,
But
'cause,
I don't
like,
want brown rice. Eve's healthy now, and I'm saying I
I'm
don't want that
biology
shit.
class
She's biology
pill.
class coded. Dude.
And also, I knew you didn't want brown rice, and I was gonna make you white rice because I knew that you wouldn't
Thank
f with the
you.
brown rice.
I
She wouldn't F
appreciate
with the
that.
brown rice.
I really, one thing I really will not do is alternative starches. Like, I don't want to eat your cauliflower pasta. I don't
Well,
want
I'm
to
not
eat.
that far
No,
gone.
I know, but I'm saying in general.
I did have cauliflower tater tots one time, and they were quite good.
Yeah.
Whoa.
You know what? Never say never. And sometimes things are prepared in a way that's fine.
We're like, I'll never have an alternative starch.
I'll never have an alternative starch.
Was that pick me? Because Robert was like, I like cauliflower.
Yeah, and then you
tots.
immediately changed your tune
Yeah.
and said, I love cauliflower tater
All right.
tots.
Well, I have a lot to think about.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna make her a birthday salmon because famously, I'm like paws off my salmon usually.
Yeah, Eve does not like even. Well, I can't even say that Eve's food looks good. I can't even like look at Eve's food for too long. Like literally, if Eve is cooking and I go like this for even like a second too long, Eve's mad. Eve's pissed.
And
Because
of course-
I don't like the longing.
And obviously, Eve hates it
I
when you
hate the
go,
longing.
hey, Eve, what are you cooking?
She
Well, okay.
don't
Oh,
ask.
she does not
Don't
like
ask.
to
Literally,
be-
even more than that is when Robert like makes a guess at what I'm cooking and it's so wrong.
Hey,
Okay,
Eve,
we
what is
talked-
Rumpelstiltskin cooking?
Hey,
Like,
Eve,
does
what
he
is
ever,
Belle?
I'm like trying to remember if he ever eats anything in the
Okay,
show.
the very fact that you thought about it for real is deeply funny. But also, they know that when I make a guess that's wrong, you hate it. We've talked about it on every single episode of Young Old.
Oh.
Every single episode is like, I've got a bone to pick with Chubbs. I was making chicken noodle soup, and he thought it was
No.
chicken and rice soup.
No, it's flipped and you know it.
I
was
got a bone to
so
pick with
there's no
Chubbs.
soup.
I was making grilled cheese, and he thought it was mango.
This is my hell.
Isn't it funny that
This
after the
is my
cameras are
hell.
cut, Eve's gonna be mad for real?
Yeah, no, I was making chicken and rice, not soup, just chicken and rice in the instant pot. And he was like, I got chicken, no soup.
Yeah, we've talked about this.
We've
Okay,
talked about
well,
this.
Okay,
We-
also I
they've
was
heard
thinking
it.
about how one of my favorite like Omegle things was to pretend I was like the queen of Laos and all I wanted was to like talk to someone like they were normal. But I was realizing it's really funny that I would like do essentially the like
wait, the Queen of Laos?
yeah, Laos is a country in Southeastern Asia.
Okay.
But I'd pretend
I was-
I'd basically pretend like I,
I
was
thought
like
you meant Laos,
well, okay.
like lice singular.
You know, like the Egyptian prince scams or whatever that
Yes.
people would do. I was doing that, but I didn't even realize like I was supposed to be like scamming. People.
You wouldn't even ask
like,
for money
I
or
wasn't-
anything.
I
You just
wasn't
wanted their
asking for
time.
See,
money. Like,
I did. My friend and I
yeah.
did that via chain emails. Chain emails was our bread and butter.
Yeah.
Omegle was yours.
Yeah.
We loved chain emails.
I like to imagine there's an FBI agent who's been investigating like a cyber terrorism ring since like 2005, and he watches this episode and realizes in real time that he's been chasing around two 12-year-old girls.
Also, yeah, no, that is a funny thing that like we were missing from our things is we were never asking for money.
Yeah,
it was
I
always
didn't even know that was a part of it.
No,
like,
same. We
I
were
had
just doing
no
it to,
idea.
like,
I
for
was just like
funsies.
trolling. Yeah, like I just
Yeah.
wanted. I literally also just wanted attention.
Yeah.
Like all I wanted was words back. That's so sad.
no, literally same.
Oh God.
Anyway,
Well, see, ours was like we would
Yeah.
send them on like some sort of like trip to like Africa or something. Like we'd be like, oh, you have to go to this bazaar and like ask the merchant for snake. What I don't know.
You were doing like scavenger hunt.
yeah, scavenger hunt, and then we were like, obviously, like this person is like immediately moving this email to their trash, but we're like absolutely cackling, picturing them like on a flight to the bazaar, like, and we're like, oh my god, can you believe it? They're gonna show up at the bazaar and they're gonna ask for the snake merchant, and then the bazaar is gonna be like, what? We don't have a snake merchant, and we're like dying.
I'm also imagining now a grown man who has been seeking revenge on someone who stranded him in an African bazaar 12 years ago, and he realizes, oh my God.
Dude, what if there's a young oldenator who got conned by a chain email?
I'll pay for your bluff to make up for it.
Yeah. I'll make you a deal. I'll
And
pay
I
your
know
pay
your
bluff.
bluff is ugh.
Dude,
I
if
don't even
you're
have to see you to know.
I know you have the wrong kind of bluff.
I know you got horrible bluff.
Either upper or lower.
Or both.
actually, did you know there's no such thing as the right kind of bluff? Whatever kind of bluff you have
It's the
is
wrong kind.
wrong.
If
No
you haven't
one has
gotten your
perfect bluff.
fixed, it's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, how do I know if I got my bluff fixed? It's not.
It's not.
It's not. If you have to ask, it isn't.
So true.
Well, it's like, some cultures, like, everybody gets a nose job on, like, their, 16th birthday or something.
Isn't that the Joey King movie, The Uglies? You know how in like some cultures on your 16th birthday you get the pretty surgery and you get to go live in Pretty Town? Some cultures.
And now that I'm saying it out loud, it sounds a lot like the Uglies movie. But, like, what? How come nobody does bluff?
Bluff on your 16th.
Well, no, they do. In Asia, that's a whole thing. It's called the fold.
Oh, right, the
I
eye
think there's a book
surgery.
about it called the fold.
No, you're right. They do. Okay, so
Yeah.
then that is the thing.
It's just
then.
it's for Asian
Okay, never
people.
mind.
But the fact that it's infected the minds of the whites is hilarious.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
fact that the whites are out here thinking they also should do it.
is deeply, deeply funny.
Well, again, this is a word we didn't even know existed until 24
And now,
hours ago.
like, we've
it's
also
our whole
like,
lives.
We're
you know
black
when
pills.
you know when Google shows like the use of a word over time, it's like bluff 2025.
Dude,
It's like,
bluff spike.
Dude, there's gonna be a real bluff spike. I bet there's a
Yeah.
bluff spike. Well, also, even us were joking about it, but it's like, all right, it's the way Eve went to the biology class and was like, this is absurd, this is absurd. But
and
then
then now I'm eating brown rice.
but now she's like, I should eat brown rice though. I'm gonna be like, bluff, 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 and I am gonna be like,
Suddenly, like, we're looking in the mirror a little longer. Yeah.
yeah, I'm like
We're
biology.
analyzing our eyelids.
I'm literally out here like biology is abusive. Also, I only eat whole grains now.
yeah. And I'm up here like,
Unrelated.
Oh, we got a bread maker.
Oh yes, I can't wait.
Yes.
I can't
Yeah.
wait
We
for
need
us
to
to make
crack
bread.
that bad boy open. Thank you, Mom. My mom got me the bread maker
We
for my
can't wait to
birthday.
make bread.
We're excited.
That's who we are now.
Yeah,
Bread
we're
making
bread
breads.
bitches.
we're
With
bread
bluffs.
bitches.
I'm popping
Sorry.
on Omegle like, I'm the bread maker. My wife killed my son with a loaf of bread.
It actually is really funny because I'm like, no, that probably is why I like you because you just like make shit up.
Stupid. You come to me and you're like, I'm a middle-aged construction worker, and I'm like, and I am an elderly tinkerer. Yeah, but what I did is I just joked around. I realized like I actually didn't need to go online and try to con either children pretend to be adults or adults pretend to be children. I could just, goof around with the people in my
He
life.
joined an improv troupe.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't make
meanwhile-
my college improv troupe. You
Oh,
know that.
God.
Oh, wait, really? I didn't know
No,
that.
and I think it's because they were racist. But Robert thinks it's because I'm
you
bad
weren't
at
funny.
improv.
Yeah. Well, they're not mutually exclusive.
You're like, why didn't I make it? They're like, we're racist.
We're really racist. We're really racist. We cut back to your improv troupe. We finally meet them, and it's like the most diverse cast you've ever seen.
They're like, yeah, we're just really racist.
Yeah, we're really racist.
That's why you can't join.
But also, now you're great at improv. Let's do an improv scene right now. Hello, ma'am. I'm here for a table.
Oh yeah, we have those. Come on.
Oh yeah, we have those, bro. You're already taking.
What? I'm so sorry. I've actually realized I'm racist. I'm sorry.
I'm seen. Is that enough young old for today? I'm just
Robert-
starving.
No, I am too. But I just wanted to say, Robert said that he went on like a trip to what Joshua Tree.
It was Joshua Tree
with his comedy troupe, and like we were like, oh, it's funny because like people just go to Joshua Tree to do drugs, and we were like, what if everyone was doing drugs except Robert?
And I
then
just
he
think-
just thinks that.
I just think we're doing improv and everyone else is on.
He's like, wow, this round's going great.
Everyone else is bringing it. I am like, here's the deal. Unfortunately, though, as much as I like mock you for like messaging strangers online as children, doing improvisational comedy as an adult, far more embarrassing. So who am I?
Who are you?
You're both just little
Also, if you were on
oddballs.
Robert's improv troupe on the Joshua Tree trip, please let us know if you were
know
on
if you were on
drugs
drugs or
and
not.
you just
They
didn't
were
offer
on
any to
drugs.
Robert.
They were on drugs.
They were?
I know a couple who were, yeah.
But you just
but
were?
didn't.
I wasn't, no.
So what did you say
Well,
when you were on?
and you
were
were
you
like,
offered?
What did I say? What do you mean, was I offered? What did I say? I would be
No,
like,
like
no,
from-
I'm
he
good.
was
There was like
tables?
alcohol.
We have those.
Tables? We have those.
Imagine you go to a restaurant and
Robert's
they say
bit,
tables.
whenever
we have
Eve and
those.
I
You'd
would be
leave
like-
immediately.
Food, we have that.
Robert's bit whenever Eve and I would like when we used to smoke weed. Those days are gone.
Those days are gone.
Because Dana pissed herself at the Americana.
Yeah.
We don't have time to get into it again. Go on.
Robert would always be like, "Oh yeah, I already smoked some,"
and then do
and
that.
then he'd do a little wave.
Yeah. I'm like, you know that I'm high on weed because would a person who's not high on weed do this?
Also,
high on weed is crazy.
And if you're on audio, Robert just did
That's
a
what
little
it is.
dance.
yeah, but you can't be like,
You're
I'm
high
high
on
on weed.
Well, you were though. You guys were.
I'm just saying.
You were so high on weed.
I would be so high on weed sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd piss yourself with the Americana.
That
Yeah.
was once. Okay, we're done. Good
night,
young old. Fix your bluffs. Your bluffs are wrong.
Your bluffs
Subliminal
are
messaging.
bad.
Those are gross bluffs.
Young old. Fix your bluffs. Fix your bluffs.
Bluff raffle coming soon.
Coming
Bluff
Bluff
raffle
not
coming
included.
soon.
Bluffs are not included.
Bluffs not included.
Good
And
night.
Bye.